When the fifth-third shooter took aim on innocent people, police responded and stopped the threat within minutes. As 9 on Your Side anchor Tanya O'Rourke shows us, it was no accident that those officers were able to take the shooter down.
The chilling body camera video of the Cincinnati police officers in their finest moments. A group of officers acting as a unit, no hesitation. All learned in moments just like this one.
Don't move! Don't move!
In fact, when you see how these officers responded on that September day, police say it's directly related to the fact that in the weeks before, they were given active shooter training.
I think without it, things could have been totally different.
Officer Al Staples was on the scene that September morning working to save Whitney Austin, who had been shot multiple times. In the active shooter scenario taught last year, officers learned how to respond to an active shooter situation and how to save lives by using tourniquets.
Training has been one of the components that has really helped us survive the things that we need to do.
You talk about the importance of making this as stressful as possible. Why?
It's important to us the first time an officer's stressed out is in a training atmosphere. If they start to make a mistake or if they have a moment where they get confused by the stress, we want that to occur in training. So when they're out on the street and they are under stressful situations, it's not the first time they've experienced that stress.
At the police academy, every officer was trained last year on active shooter response. This video given to us by the police department shows a similar training situation. The incredibly lucky decision to do this type of training was Chief Elliot Isaacs.
I was very adamant that we needed to do some more around active shooter training. We had done some things in the past, but we hadn't done any hands-on live training. We had just completed that in August, and then September we had the situation on Fountain Square. So to say things were timely, yeah, I was very happy that we had made that decision.
The most terrifying part for me is conducting this active shooter training for months before that incident happened, and the fear of one of our officers being injured, knowing how instrumental I was in training them to do that job. That was on my mind the most.
So you felt such a heavy personal responsibility.
Huge burden.
Officer Steve Paponis and Sergeant Dan Kavanaugh are part of the CPD staff that trains the rank and file. Now consider this as you watch the 5 officers on that body camera respond as if they were a tactical unit. None of them had worked together before.
The fifth-third situation proved what we're doing is beneficial. We do the exact same training for every single officer, so if they arrive, much like fifth third, if they arrive to a scene and it's 3 people they've never worked with, all the tactics and skills they've learned are the same and they can work together.
We have to do the best here to ensure that our officers are safe and that they're doing the right thing for the citizens of this community.
If that training doesn't happen, these officers may not have been able to respond as they did, putting more lives at risk, including their own.
In this profession, that is the one thing that I do fear. This is a family. Each and every one of these officers that wear these uniforms, that is something that I'm always concerned about. That is my greatest fear, is losing an officer in the line of duty.
Tanya O'Rourke, 9 on Your Side.